Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to show you some easy tips and tricks to get up and going playing punk rock rhythm guitar quickly. This is a continuation of my first punk rock rhythm guitar lesson. In this one we're going to focus on your picking hand. I also have the easy punk rock lead guitar video too, so check that one out. I will put links to both those videos at the end of this video. And if you have a quick second, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out a lot. And check out my website, scottobrien.guitar.com. I have the tab for hundreds of punk rock and grunge songs up there, plus some other resources. And here we go. All right, so the first punk rock rhythm technique we are going to talk about is the use of exclusively downstrokes in your rhythm playing. So very similar like what the Ramones do. Where you, instead of kind of like strumming it like you might do an acoustic or a little bit more passive, like you can get a little bit more aggressive by just using exclusively downstrokes. So, and so using the all downstrokes method instead of like a conventional up and down stroke is a little bit more difficult. You need to kind of build up that wrist speed, but it's going to give you a little bit more of that aggressive pace. It's going to make your songs feel like more urgent, a little bit more, maybe even like seem faster because of the franticness of the picking. And one thing I recommend when you're learning this technique is to keep your hand and wrist very loose. You want a light grip on your pick, and you want your hands to be your fingers to be very loose. And you can hold your hand in different ways. A lot of people like to kind of just flail their fingers out a little bit, but I think the most important thing to do is to just be relaxed with your fingers and your wrist. You shouldn't be having like that clenching grip on your fingers. It'll make it a lot harder. And practice standing up. It's a little bit easier to do when you have your arm kind of extended, when you're sitting kind of like I am now, like kind of hunched over to do this lesson. It's a little harder to do those all downstrokes. So a good way to practice that is just to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just hit each note in that 4/4 time. So. And then you don't have to exclusively play it that way. It's just an easy way to kind of get your speed up. You can also do like stuff that's more similar to like Black Flag, where you're kind of just playing downstrokes, but it's like kind of maybe a little different rhythm, like something like along those lines. Those are all downstrokes, but they're not played on straight time. So you don't have to exclusively use downstrokes to make a song sound very frantic or urgent or aggressive. You can use those up and downstrokes. And a lot of times this comes in handy on songs where you're not playing a straight 4/4 time where you're changing each measure. And so that for that first example with all the downstrokes, we're placing the emphasis on each note. So it's. And with the second example, we're actually emphasizing the first note of each measure. So the alternate strumming kind of gives you the ability to kind of emphasize that first note more. So. And then we can also use the alternate strumming to play something almost double time. So if we were going to play, let's say that first example. Now we can use alternate strumming to play twice as many strums in the same amount of time. Another cool technique we can use is palm muting. And palm muting is a great way to kind of pull back on the guitar so that you can go a little bit harder when you want to like really push in the song. So for example, a lot of bands will use it in the verse where it's a little quieter. You want the singer to come a little bit more to the front. And then when you hit the chorus, you can go like full bore with your open chords. So an example of palm muting is we're going to just play the chord the way we normally play it, and then we're going to rest our palm just like pretty close to the bridge over the strings. And so what this is going to do is it's kind of muffle the notes a little bit instead of playing. And so this is a really cool way to kind of vary your sound if you're playing the same chords going from verse to chorus, so it kind of mixes it up a little bit. So the example we played before with the open chords goes something like this. then we can go with palm muting with just downstrokes like this. And so we could use that part as the verse where it's a little quieter, and then use the open chords in the chorus, and then we're playing the same chords, but it kind of sounds like different parts. And you can also add like some open chords into it, and I like to do something like this. So I'm basically just opening it up on the first chord, and then palm muting the rest. And so again, with palm muting, we want to rest the heel of our hand across the strings like close to the bridge, typically where you would normally play the chords. So if I normally strum around here, I'm just going to rest my palm about the same spot just on the strings. And it takes a little practice to kind of get the feel so that you're not completely muting. Like you can do that. That sounds cool in some cases, but you might want like a little lighter palm mute so the notes ring out a little bit more. So you just experiment with the pressure that you're putting on. And then again, real light wrist to keep your palm on the bridge while also being able to kind of strum on the proper rhythm. Another thing we can do with the palm muting is we can use it as a buildup. So we can start with a heavy palm mute, and we can gradually lift our palm off of the chord or off the strings as we build up on the chord, so it gradually gets louder. So it sounds something like. And that's really cool in like a transition part of a song or in like a build-up. And so all we're doing is we're just going to be just starting with a heavy palm mute, as heavy as you want. And then we're going to gradually release the palm mute to the point where you're not even palm muting at all anymore. And then I like to increase the intensity of my picking. So until you get to like full open, and then you can go into like the next change. So like. Something like that. You could also, using that other example that we did before, you could also use that as a build-up within like the verse. Like let's say you do that palm muted verse a few times. The last time through, when you're kind of building up to the chorus, you can go. And so the next technique we're going to talk about is pick slides. And so a pick slide is simply just running your pick across the strings. And there's different ways to do it, so you can experiment, but I like to do like a long kind of fast one on the bottom two strings. And then you can end with a chord or going into a riff. But there's other ways to do it. You can do like kind of long, like kind of windy, scraggly ones. Like Dead Kennedy style. Or you can go up. Really, I mean, there's no right or wrong way to do it. I just find that if you want to get like kind of a really aggressive one, it's best to angle your pick so you're along the coils. That way it gives that real sharp scraping sound. And I like to do pick slides like either at the beginning of a part or at the end of a part or at a transition part. So let's say you're playing like a rhythm and you're going into the chorus, you can do a pick slide. Or at the start of the song. Or even at like the end of a lead, you could be playing. And then go back into a chord. So it's a really versatile technique that you can use to kind of do signal transitions in your songs or add a little bit of added interest to like a chord progression that might be running on for a long time. And then we can also just kind of put everything together. So. So really just kind of experiment with what sounds good where, like where you like to put your pick slides, where you like to do the palm muting, and listen for them in music that you listen to. I think you'll hear a lot of those elements in the songs that you listen to. So that's it for this one. I hope you liked the lesson. If you appreciate this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel out a lot. And check out my website, ScottO'BrienGuitar.com. I've got a tab for hundreds of punk, rock, and grunge songs up there, as well as other resources. And I will see you guys next time.